Welcome to the City Show here. Pat O'Melia, live on GGR Radio. That stands for Good Government Radio. It's what we do here. And if you would be so kind, tell your friends. Download the Live 365 app. That's where you can find GGR. And there's a ton of other programming besides GGR on Live 365. There's a lot of music, a lot of podcasts, that sort of thing. It's a good program. It's a good app. It's all free. So you don't have to lay any money out. And you get to listen to us. And you can listen to us as much as you like. And it's all free. You can listen on your Alexa, your Siri, or your internet-enabled speakers. You can listen in your car, whatever. It's radio. It's podcast, whatever you want to. I look at it as radio, but it could also be a podcast network here. Today, we're going to talk about, first off, we're going to be moving the show to a new time slot starting next Monday at 9 p.m. Like the old days when I did the Jersey City Talking Show and the Hudson County Talking Show. They were at 9 o'clock on Mondays and Wednesdays. We'll be starting on Monday. Maybe we'll put a Wednesday show in there, just like the old days. And we'll keep moving. We've been working on a lot of the city council people in Jersey City about them coming in to do town hall meetings. So that, I'm sure, is going to occur. So when we give these guys like another month or so to get their feet on the ground. You got so many new council people. But first, let's break for commercial. Then we'll talk about what we're going to do on the show. You're listening to The City Show. I'll be right back.
Comprehensive healthcare is here, here, and here. RWJ Barnabas Health is healing, enhancing, and investing in Hudson County with its two newest locations, Hoboken and Exchange Place. Within walking distance or accessible by mass transit, our locations combine convenience with primary and specialty care, including cardiology, women's health, orthopedics, cancer care, and more. Let's be healthy together.
Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunley Avenue, Jersey City. Hudson County's only monument maker, serving all faiths and cemeteries. Design, studio, and large inventory on site. Cemetery inscriptions and custom orders welcome. Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunley Avenue, just south of Secaucus Road. Craftsmanship that will last for all eternity. Burns Brothers, Jersey City, Albert H. Hopper, North Arlington. Visit us on the net.
No one plans on heart disease, but everyone should have a plan for it. We help patients of all lifestyles and medical histories plan for healthy hearts. We offer convenient screenings without judgment, hundreds of preventive programs, and women's heart specialists. And we're the largest cardiac surgery program in New Jersey. Make plans for a healthy heart with RWJ Barnabas Health. Let's be healthy together.
Consumer Carpets, 3408 Kennedy Boulevard in the Jersey City Heights. Your one-stop store for residential and commercial floor treatments. Carpeting, linoleum, tiles, laminates, hardwood floors, area rugs, remnants. All major brands, all in stock. Free estimates, same-day installation. Consumer Carpets, it's savings, selection, installation. Credit cards and debit cards accepted. Financing available. Consumer Carpets, price to fit your budget, installation to fit your schedule. On the net at consumercarpets.com. Consumer Carpets, Jersey City, 201-792-2712.
Newport, the luxury waterfront community on the Hudson River, offers a quality of life you deserve in one of our many high-rise towers. With amenities such as the on-site Newport Path, light rail, Newport Town Square, 3 playgrounds, dog run, upscale restaurants, retail giants like Kohl's, JC Macy's, and Target. Morton Williams and Acme Supermarket are just outside your front door. A health and fitness center, skating rink, and medical facilities are also on site. Enjoy the New York skyline from our waterfront and various parks. Manhattan is just one pass stop away, or a quick ride through the Holland Tunnel. Nursery and private elementary schools all on site. 12-screen movie theater at the Newport Center Mall. Looking to visit? Stay at the Westin or Marriott Hotel. For more information, visit us at newportnj.com. Make lasting memories to cherish forever. It's incredible. It's you, Newport. Live like you want.
Panapinto Properties, Jersey City, shaping the workplace with state-of-the-art office spaces and addresses your company desires. Building residences that define your home environment, adjacent to all modes of transportation with on-site parking available. The right address, the right lease. Call 201-521-9000 or visit online at panapintodevelopment.com. Panapinto Properties, building Jersey City for everyone.
Good Friend Self Storage in North Bergen, New Jersey is a fully climate controlled facility equipped with state of the art security, packing supplies, a Refer Friend program, and multiple loading docks convenient for commercial use. Located just off of Route 3 at 4301 Tunnelly Avenue, Route 1 and 9. Call 201 867 2444 or visit us on the web today. Good Friend Self Storage. Let us be your good friend.
All right, we're back. Listening to the City Show here, Pat O'Melia live on GGR again. Please download the Live 365 app, and you can listen to all our programming and all the other programming there. Let's go over a few things we're going to talk about. Again, like I said, the show is going to move to Mondays at 9 p.m., like the old days on GGR here. We'll start with Mondays at 9 p.m., like we did with the Jersey City Talking Show. And I'm thinking about a Wednesday where we used to have the Hudson County Talking Show back in the early 2000s. Before the Yankees came in and took my time slots. They wanted a Spanish language broadcast outlet when I was on NJ 1430. And the only thing preventing that deal was me there 2 nights a week at 9 o'clock on Mondays and Wednesdays. So NJR said, listen, we got to let you go. You know, you got a contract, but we got the Yankees. It was big money. I said, I'd do the same thing. So off we went. I was no longer on the radio. But fortunately, at that point, we had started doing the television. Mayor Cunningham wanted to do TV, so I started gearing up for that at the Lowe's Theater, and unfortunately, we lost Mayor Cunningham. But I still had the contracts to do the television, so off the TV we went, and never realizing that radio and television would become my career for the next 30 years or so. Pretty good career. There's been a lot of ups and downs, a lot of things we covered. You know, you take Solomon right now. I think he is my 6th mayor I'm covering. I started with Brett. A lot of people don't realize I knew Brett before I got into the Jersey City Talking Show. Before I started the Jersey City Talking, I did professional wrestling. For that matter, with my high school kids, I'm thinking about bringing the professional wrestling show back. And just for the hell of it, in my shelf of old technology in my office, I have my old Rolodex from like 30 years ago, and it still works, battery operated. And just for the hell of it, I typed in back then WWF, and sure enough, my contacts were still there. So I called the number, and the number still worked. So that same number without the WWE, of course. So what I'm going to do tomorrow, right now, I'm still I'm a professional recuperator. You know, earlier in the year, last year, I got a stent put in my heart because I was preparing to get my knee replaced. So we had to do the stent. Then they want to do the surgery on my knee because it hit the stent. So we got that done. So in December, we finally got my knee done. We did the knee. I didn't realize that recuperation was going to be so long. I thought hip replacement was worse than knee, but it turns out, no, that's not it. Hip replacement's a lot easier than knee replacement. Everything seems to be easier than knee replacement. Yeah, I'm still pretty sore, but I'm not helping myself. I finally go back to work. It's about, I guess about 10, 11 days ago. And, of course, we already got the snow and ice everywhere. I got a new leg. Yeah, and I'm walking with a cane. I'm walking, but I'm not walking great. The guys in the studio say, Pat, as I'm leaving, and I said, do you want me to help you? Nah, I can handle it. For a while, they were rolling me in a wheelchair out of there. But I was parked at the end of the road. Because of all the snow, I didn't park where I normally park. Even though the storage people let me park in a lot, I just don't like abusing things. My guys were already parked in a lot from the studio. So I parked where I could, way down there. So I went out the rear exit closest to Dell Avenue in North Bergen. And there's 2 or 3 steps there. And, of course, I didn't manage the 2 or 3 steps. Boom, I hit the friggin' sidewalk like a rock. Well, first I bounced off a dumpster, I think. Then I hit the sidewalk. And, of course, I hurt the new knee. Dislocated the kneecap, restrained some ligaments. My rear end is black, blue, and purple. My right knee, which isn't any bargain either, needs to be replaced, is all banged up also. So I kind of went back to square one. So tomorrow I'm seeing the orthopedic surgeon. Probably take some more pictures of my knee. Hopefully the kneecap is back in place. The physical therapist thinks it is. Should have seen her face. She's doing after I got the injury. I canceled the one appointment, then I went there. I had Friday appointments, then I went back on Monday. And she's rubbing the knee and working on the knee, and she gets to the kneecap, and you can see her look in her eyes like, whoa, that's where to go. Now, hopefully that's okay. Not walking well. I'm still sore here, there, and everywhere. I hit that pretty good. But of course, there's to be the snow. There's snow and ice everywhere. We're knocking Jersey City. Jersey City is no worse, no better, no worse than Union City. And even North Bergen is struggling. John Shore and those guys, they're like professional, like Buffalo with snow. And this is tough. What it was, the snow came down and then it turned to rock. It froze. Finally, today is in the 40s. This week will be in the 50s. So that's where we are with my day. Hopefully, tomorrow I get a good bill of health. And what I was talking about, I may have the high school kids do a professional wrestling show. And the WWF back then, they were great. They would give me tickets to the Meadowland shows. Yeah, I'd take the listeners from the Wrestling Tonight show. We did like 20, 30 kids there. And always great seats, too, to be like in the second or third row. And when we'd get there at the Meadowland, we'd go to the entrance in the back where the wrestlers came in. You talk to the wrestlers once in a while. They'd get out, shake hands with you, at least wave to you. And it's funny, you'd have like guys that are, they're having these feuds, but they'd be riding in the same car together. But it was a great time. And hopefully I can bring that back, and I'll let the high school kids work on that. I got the kids in Thursday. We'll be working on some plans there and some video plans and radio plans. I want to get these guys. I'm holding things back because I've been injured so much. But like I said, moving to 9 o'clock Mondays. I might bring in a Wednesday show also. We'll see how that goes. Now, some of the topics we want to talk about today. Well, Jersey City's broke. We are really broke. We're as broke as I have ever seen it in the, what's this, 2026? What are you doing? It's 28 years now with Jersey City, covering it. Almost 30 years on this. This is the worst we've ever seen it. And it's only going to get worse before it gets better. So we're going to talk about that. How does the city bail itself out? We'll talk about the county. Actually, ICE enforcement in Hudson County we're going to talk about. There's an easier way of doing what we're doing. A lot has to do with sanctuary cities. We'll talk about the Gateway Tunnel. Pompidou is dead, people. Pompidou is dead. But what do we do with the space? We got the space for Pompidou. What do we do with it? That's a good question. I have some suggestions for Mayor Solomon. I want to talk about some affordable housing. And interesting, I sometimes I get into these national issues. Voter ID. I don't understand what the issue is with voter ID. Why? When I vote in Jersey City, they ask me for my ID. I have to show them my driver's license. Why wouldn't we do that everywhere? Well, let's start from the top. Jersey City be a broke. We're in a hole for $250 million. That sounds like the lottery guy, doesn't it? $250 million. Well, that's the number we're in. Now, during the debate, the runoff debate with McGreevey and Solomon, I mentioned that, whoever the mayor is, you're going to open that desk drawer, because it happens every time there's a new mayor. You're going to open the desk drawer in the mayor's office, and demons are going to jump out of there. I have no idea how bad those demons. I know we were in money problem. We're always in money problem, but this is a huge money problem here, $250 million. And those demons were huge. They popped out of there. Solomon probably tried to fine-tune that. He hired some real budget professionals, financial people, and that only got worse. And there's a case, they're accusing Solomon and Philip are going back and forth at who's at fault for this. Philip mismanaged the finances of the city. Did he do a lot of can kicking down the road? Now, Philip was the mayor for 12 years. I don't know how much can kicking you can do down there. When you look at mayors like Nick Sacco in North Bergen, Brian Stack, of course, in Union City, Richie Turner in Weehawken, those guys have been the mayors for a long, long time. Those guys don't kick things down the road because they're going to be down the road. I would think Philip was probably thinking the same way. Yeah, if you're going to kick something down the road, I guess it was that third term. And I don't think we threw ourselves in the hole for $250 million in his last term. We're looking for the state to do some bailout. I don't know how it's going to work. But getting into the problem, how do we get $250 million in the hole? Plus, we lost a lot of assets, which is also interesting. According to Mayor Solomon, Mayor Phillip sold over 1,000 properties, city-owned properties, in the 12 years he was mayor. That seems like a lot of property to sell. That would work out to almost 7 or 8 properties per month. If Phillip was selling 7 or 8 properties a month, he would probably be a Hall of Fame real estate salesman. That's a lot of property. 7, 8 properties a month? Yeah, what's the sales guy get on, like 10%? You're doing pretty good. That seems to be a lot. Now, was he selling property? I've had an issue with him selling our parking lots. I don't even know how many parking lots the Jersey City Parking Authority has anymore. No, we got the one on where I park on Congress and Central. I know we got the Burger King lot. I know we have the lot across from the North Precinct. After that, I think we got another lot downtown, but we sold a lot of these lots. And there's always the argument, oh, Jersey City people don't need cars. Jersey City people have cars. When people move to Jersey City, after they move in, they get a car. And if anybody doubts that, go to Hoboken Avenue. Go behind Christ Hospital, which is an issue right now, is falling off the table somehow. What are we doing with Christ Hospital there? But right now we're at such dire straits, $250 million, and we're iced in. Right now, Christ Hospital is not in the forefront of Solomon's issues right now. But go behind Christ Hospital, all that new development in the last 5-6 years, and all that, people are not going to have cars. Remember, no cars. There are cars all over the place on Jersey Avenue. All over the place. Every one of those new buildings are surrounded by cars. There's cars going off Hoboken Avenue. If you're a Jersey City guy like I am, you remember cutting up Hoboken Avenue coming out of downtown? And there was nobody. There were no cars on Hoboken Avenue. Cars all over Hoboken Avenue now. There's cars everywhere. So we have to stop telling ourselves and lying to ourselves that, well, no, we don't need cars in Jersey City. Yes, we do. We're Jersey City people. We have cars. And as soon as the people move to Jersey City, first thing they do is get a car. That's why this car parking is such an issue. Somewhere along the line, if Solomon is going to be a successful mayor, he's going to have to address the car issue here in Jersey. We just can't keep having a war on cars. You know, they just had a meeting in the Heights about it, no more bike lanes. Yeah, listen, I'm not a big proponent of bike lanes because they're just not utilized. Not utilized. A perfect example was the storm we just had. You know, nobody's riding the bikes in this. It's not a 24/7, 365 mode of transportation. And it's just impacting the actual 24/7, 365 mode of transportation. So I agree. You put some bike lanes in some parts of the city. You just can't have them everywhere. But that's another story for another day. But they just had a meeting about Franklin Street, which is one of the dumbest friggin' bike lane proposals. That's turning Manhattan Avenue by Persian Field into a one-way going east, and then converting Franklin Street a one-way going west. And they did a temp job on this, and they've seen all the negatives out of it, from the fire department to commercial vehicles. They couldn't make the left-hand turn in front of the Stop and Shop there, which by the way, they also put a bike lane in front of the Stop and Shop. So there was no turning radius. It just blocked up everything. If you wanted to go east, you couldn't go up Manhattan Avenue, so you were stuck either cutting through Persian Field Park, not a good option, or going down to Jefferson and cutting up by the schools, not a good option. So it's just asinine, but it's just bad policy what the city was going there. But what do we do? How do we get out of the hole? Well, you got two things you got to do. First off, we got to start rebuilding the assets. If we sold 1,000, that's a legitimate number. That's an astounding legitimate number. 1,000 properties, like I said, 7-8 a month. You know, our cupboard is bare. I don't know how many more properties the city could own. But the city has to do something. So how do we do this? Of course, the state, they had a dog and pony show where all the state people behind them, Raj was there, and Angela McKnight, and Brian Stack was there, some county commissioners. You're not getting $250 million out of this state. The state's broke also. They're in a hole for, I don't know, $5-6 billion, something like that, probably worse. You might get some money and not going. So what does the city have to do? Well, you don't want to raise any taxes because we keep that buzzword, affordability. We should actually get some booze. Every time the city says affordability, you should take a swig. I'm going to take a swig of Gatorade. Every time I say affordability, oh, there you go. I'd rather drink a Gatorade. A good flavor, too. This is the lemon lime. That's the favorite. I'll go with the orange, too, but the lemon lime is the best one. How do you cut? See, one of the things the city did, and especially during Phillip's term, he kept adding to the city hall. He kept adding departments. I suggested long ago that we hit a reset button. Maybe we go back to either Brett Schindler or Glenn Cunningham's day, the end of Brett, the beginning of Glenn, and what programs we had there. Then we look at what was added on. Because we put a lot of departments in place that we probably don't need. I'm sure we don't need. But it sounded good, some of these departments we put in. We got to look at some of the mistakes we made. The Incinerator Authority, our autonomous agency there, we folded that up. It's probably still exists because I'm sure we have bonds out, so we can sort that up rather quickly. The Jersey City Parking Authority became Jersey City Parking Enforcement, the department of the city. That was a mistake. We should have kept it autonomous. Also, you want to cut down some expenses. Well, if you can't, then you got to generate revenue. The Parking Authority is an ATM machine for the city. I was involved with the Parking Authority during Glenn's days. We don't give out near the tickets we used to. And nobody wants tickets. But I was the PR guy. I would go to all the community meetings for the Parking Authority back in the early thousands. And for the first 10, 15 minutes, they beat me up about getting tickets. The rest of the meeting was they wanted more tickets and more enforcement. You didn't want a ticket, but they wanted more tickets out there. And you know what? We should be giving out more tickets. If you're parking illegally, you should be getting. You don't have your permit, you should be getting a ticket. The revenue down is so far down at the Jersey City Parking Enforcement. It's not even near the numbers of when it was an autonomous agency. And that's got to be looked at. We got to look at cutting expenses. Yeah, I don't want to see anybody lose jobs. So like I said, we've added a lot of departments and a lot of programs in Jersey City since the days of Glenn Cunningham. Maybe we got to look at all of them. Somehow we got to get a handle on this. We can't keep talking about affordability. Oh, let me get the Gatorade. Hold on, Gatorade. Can't keep talking about affordability when we're extremely expensive. Now, keep in mind, the city is $250 million in the hole. The school board budget, which is probably coming up for another number now, is over $1 billion that you're paying for. And then you got the county as the third. You got three parts of your tax bill. We are not going to be, I don't want to say if I'm a Gatorade, I want to drink here. We're not going to be cheap to live in. It's not going to be a reasonably priced Jersey City unless we make a concerted effort to cut expenses. And that has to occur. You know, I think we stay away from, like I say with the school budget, stay away from the teachers. Teacher salaries are off the table. They're not negotiable. You can't fool around. If anything, I'd probably give them some more money. I'm sure if we did a forensic accounting of the Jersey City Board of Ed, we'd find some money that we could find repurpose or give back to the public. I'm sure that would happen. The city, we have to cut. We have to figure out where we can make some changes. Fire department and PD is off the table. You can't fool with either one of them. Everything else after that is on the table. Again, I would bring back the Incinerator Authority. We'll probably be paying about $20 million for garbage pickup in Jersey City, which is incredible because the garbage pickup is awful in Jersey City. Plus, there's another $20 million in what's called tipping fees to dump the garbage. Our company now, Roselle, is just picking up the garbage. We got to pay to get it dumped, too. And that's through a contract with the county. We could possibly do some negotiating with the county on that. We need to get into the business of picking up our own garbage. You know, getting out of $250 million is not going to happen in 1 year. It's going to be long term. So we got to look at the things we're spending a tremendous amount of money at. $20 million a year for garbage pickup is ridiculous. Back in 2021, I got to redo these numbers, but I put together a package proposal for Brian Platt, was our BA back then, on doing our own garbage pickup. Now, before I got into radio and TV and politics, I used to run shops. So, yeah, I have a good understanding of what it takes to do the job of picking up the garbage. Now, there's a lot of logistics. There's a whole map and whole, map you have to follow to do the city. But as far as getting the equipment done, you're going to need probably a dedicated 26 garbage trucks, and you're going to need some spares, so you probably need at least maybe 5 more spares or 6 spares for when breakdown. You're going to need a shop. You're going to need some land for those trucks. You're going to need hydraulic mechanics. You're going to need diesel mechanics. You're going to need welders. You need guys to do the wash. You need regular maintenance and repair guys. I'll wait for commercial. I'm being texted by my studio there. There's a tremendous amount of effort. You need guys who are going to do dumpster repairs. You need guys, we need tire people. We're going to need mobile service units to go out when one of the garbage trucks break down or they get a flat tire. We're going to need a good vendor to back us up. So you're going to need a lot of personnel. And I ran the numbers the last time. I think I was at about $10 million a year. But we were buying all the equipment right off the bat. We were spreading it out over 5 years. The garbage trucks were expensive. I think at that time, about $300,000, probably more than that. Mayor Solomon asked me to look at those numbers again, so I got to sit down and work on them. The only numbers I didn't have in place was the land and workers' comp for the city. I don't know how the city handles that. But we have the land down my neck of the woods, Dog Patch, Jersey City. Where's Dog Patch, Pat? That's the end of St. Paul's Avenue along the Hackensack River. I recently just found out how we got the name Dog Patch from Little Abner, the old comic strip there. But I'm from Dog Patch, down below the Ken Lofts. We have public service. They cleared that area, so there is some land we can possibly make a deal with public service to put our own. I would say the incinerator authority, get them down there and reactivate that and start doing our own garbage pickup. But there has to be a commitment to that, and you got to make sure you do that right. Now there was talk about going into contract with various garbage companies for each ward. That's a lot. That's 6 contracts we have to work on. One of the problems is how we bid this out. We can only bid out for 5 years, and if you're going to get somebody who's coming in scratch, they have to do what I just talked about, buying those garbage trucks, and they got to stretch that over 5 years. So the 5-year contract prohibits a lot of people from bidding on that. But again, we should do it ourselves because the next bid is going to come in at $20 million. I'm going to guess right now, even with the high cost, and even if we throw land in, I guess I'm looking at everything at 5 years, but the city's going to do it forever. But my plan was based on 5 years. Even with the land, hopefully we can work some kind of a deal with public service and the changes in prices. I know we're going to be damn well less than $20 million. So if we can come in at 14 million, 15 million, say $5 million a year, that's pretty good. That's really good. And like I said, after we get past those 5 years, we take good care of the equipment, the trucks. You could probably get a good 8 years out of them. If you have good diesel mechanics, you got good hydraulic mechanics, you got some good welders, yeah, you could probably get 10 out of those pieces of equipment. Same thing with the mobile trucks. You're going to go through tires, you're going to go through diesel fuel, that's another number I have to now go back at. The diesel fuel that has gone up so high. Well, listen, let's break for commercial. You're listening to The City Show. I'll be right back.
Newport, the luxury waterfront community on the Hudson River, offers a quality of life you deserve in one of our many high-rise towers. With amenities such as the on-site Newport Path, light rail, Newport Town Square, 3 playgrounds, dog run, upscale restaurants, retail giants like Kohl's, JC Penney, Macy's, and Target. Morton Williams and Acme Supermarket are just outside your front door. A health and fitness center, skating rink, and medical facilities are also on site. Enjoy the New York skyline from our waterfront and various parks. Manhattan is just one pass stop away, or quick ride through the Holland Tunnel. Nursery and private elementary schools all on site. 12-screen movie theater at the Newport Center Mall. Looking to visit? Stay at the Westin or Marriott Hotel. For more information, visit us at newportnj.com. Make lasting memories to cherish forever. It's incredible. It's you, Newport. Live like you want.
No one plans on heart disease, but everyone should have a plan for it. We help patients of all lifestyles and medical histories plan for healthy hearts. We offer convenient screenings without judgment, hundreds of preventive programs, and women's heart specialists. And we're the largest cardiac surgery program in New Jersey. Make plans for a healthy heart with RWJ Barnabas Health. Let's be healthy together.
Consumer Carpets, 3408 Kennedy Boulevard in the Jersey City Heights, your one-stop store for residential and commercial floor treatments, carpeting, linoleum, tiles, laminates, hardwood floors, area rugs, remnants, all major brands, all in stock. Free estimates, same-day installation. Consumer Carpets, it's savings, selection, installation. Credit cards and debit cards accepted. Financing available. Consumer Carpets, price to fit your budget, installation to fit your schedule. On the net at consumercarpets.com. Consumer Carpets, Jersey City, 201-792-2712.
No one plans on heart disease, but everyone should have a plan for it. We help patients of all lifestyles and medical histories plan for healthy hearts. We offer convenient screenings without judgment, hundreds of preventive programs, and women's heart specialists. And we're the largest cardiac surgery program in New Jersey. Make plans for a healthy heart with RWJ Barnabas Health. Let's be healthy together.
Consumer Carpets, 3408 Kennedy Boulevard in the Jersey City Heights, your one-stop store for residential and commercial floor treatments, carpeting, linoleum, tiles, laminates, hardwood floors, area rugs, remnants, all major brands, all in stock. Free estimates, same-day installation. Consumer Carpets, it's savings, selection, installation. Credit cards and debit cards accepted. Financing available. Consumer Carpets, price to fit your budget, installation to fit your schedule. On the net at consumercarpets.com. Consumer Carpets, Jersey City, 201-792-2712.
Comprehensive healthcare is here, here, and here. RWJ Barnabas Health is healing, enhancing, and investing in Hudson County with its two newest locations, Hoboken and Exchange Place. Within walking distance or accessible by mass transit, our locations combine convenience with primary and specialty care, including cardiology, women's health, orthopedics, cancer care, and more. Let's be healthy together.
Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunley Avenue, Jersey City. Hudson County's only monument maker, serving all faiths and cemeteries. Design, studio, and large inventory on site. Cemetery inscriptions and custom orders welcome. Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunley Avenue, just south of Secaucus Road. Craftsmanship that will last for all eternity. Burns Brothers, Jersey City, Albert H. Hopper, North Arlington. Visit us on the net.
And we're back. Pat O'Melia here, City Show on GGR. Don't forget, download. Tell your friends to download the Live 365 app. So we're talking about how the city gets out from $250 million. And it's not going to be done in a year. And Solomon certainly doesn't want to jack the taxes up. So he's got to come up with some kind of a plan here. We talked about picking up the garbage, doing our own garbage. And even if it was a break, even if it's the same amount, it's still better. We'll do a better job than the present vendor. It's as if these guys can't hit the back of a garbage truck with a can standing next to it because there's garbage all over the place when they're done. So we could do a better job of it. We certainly want to, not only we want to do a good job, we want to involve ourselves with a company that knows it, somebody to oversee it for us. We want as much experience and knowledge as possible. Second thing is DPW. When I was a kid, DPW was pretty prestigious. Actually, it was a pretty damn good organization when I first got in. They had plumbers, they had carpenters, they repaired the fire trucks. They did a lot of work. They went out there and fixed the potholes. I remember Glenn with the pothole killer filling the potholes. I don't know if we do that anymore. I just don't see the DPW out there doing that kind of work anymore. Yeah, I'm sure they're working. I'm just not sure what we're doing on, what we're working on anymore. We have to do as much as we can in-house. Like when we pave a street. Why Jersey City, the second biggest city, possibly the largest city population-wise in the state, we can't pave a street. We should have that type of equipment. We could do shared services. When the county needs some street paving, we could go and do it and charge them and make some money on it. Same thing in Hoboken. But we should be able to do that. When we hear, well, we're going to pay some streets and the cost is going to be $16 million, we're writing a check for $16 million to someone. Somebody's making a profit on that. We should be doing that. But it takes the type of knowledge to do that, the kind of experience. I'm not sure if we have that at the DPW. I don't know if we have the technicians and mechanics to do that. It's something we should be looking into because it's real easy to write a check when you're writing that check with someone else's money. Those are the kind of things we need to do. We should be doing more shared services. We should be doing as much as we can with the shared services. Health and Human Services. You're paying taxes to the county. If there's a redundancy between the city and the county, we shouldn't have that redundancy. One or the other should do it. If the county is doing Health and Human Services, and I know Robert Knapp does a great job at the county. Yeah, maybe we give them a lot of what we're doing. You're already paying the taxes for that. We need that kind of redundancy. These are the things you got to look at. Where can we save money? Where can we save money to make the city more reasonable to live in? I don't want to drink any more Gatorade because I have to go to the bathroom if I do anymore. Somehow, we have to look at every one of the departments and how we can make them more efficient. The Jersey City Parking Authority, as I mentioned before, or enforcement, they got to step it up. We got to get back into the business of parking and enforcement. Tickets have to be issued. Now, probably nobody in the city gets more tickets than I do. And I've done this on when we had the city TV show. I got to get that going back again now. Hopefully, I get a clearance tomorrow from the orthopedic surgeon that my kneecap is okay, that my knee won't buckle on me. I can go to work again and fall down the steps. That needs to be done. The parking, nobody gets more tickets than I do. And like I said, with the city show back in the old days, I had them in my hands. It was hundreds of them. I'm the worst person. But you know what it is? If I'm like running into the post office, I'll park illegally instead of taking a legal spot because I figure somebody wants to go shop. And I'm concerned about the businesses there on Central Avenue. Let somebody park who's going to, go into Gino. They're going to go into, Bond Drug or something. And I'll get a ticket like an idiot. I should just park legal. But we need that. We need the tickets that we used to give at night. I don't see these guys giving tickets at night. And now we went to no permits on the lot parking. So we don't even know who's parking legally in the lots because you need an LPR, a license plate reader. We should probably go back to putting stickers in the window so we know who anybody can look by and say, oh, wait a minute, this guy was not supposed to be here. You make a phone call to Jersey City Parking Enforcement, and they come out and issue a ticket. We're not doing that sort of thing anymore. We're leaving millions of dollars on the table. Now, if we don't pick that millions of dollars off the table, it's got to get on the table somehow, and that turns into your taxes. And that's a problem. So we've got to get away from wasting money. We've got to become more efficient. We've got to do more things in-house. And we've got away from that. So, like I said, it's real easy to write a check with other people's money, and that's what we've been doing a lot of. So we have to look at every department and find out what we could do. And I tell you what, I understand 9/11 or 911 service going through an overhaul. Somebody's actually went in and looked at it and say, listen, we could do a better job. And again, I don't think I need to pay $200,000. That was one thing he was talking about, paying somebody $200,000 to give it approvals about how we can make it more efficient. You're answering effing phone calls. I don't think we need a rocket scientist there to figure that out for us, how we can make this better. I'm sure we got some veterans in there that we can say, what do you think we should do here? And we can make that system work. These are all the things we can do in-house to save money. Yeah, like I said, we got to look at programs the city has instituted in the last, I want to blame it on 12. I'll say the last, I'll go to Glenn. Let's go to Glenn's time. Whatever programs started after Glenn Cunningham's administration, we take a good look at it and see, should we have these? Now, Mayor Solomon has gone out and he's going to work for $1 a year. He's not taking a salary. Kudos to Mayor Solomon because he's in a situation here. Obviously, his lifestyle permits him to do that, which is good. I noticed nobody else in the city has stepped up to do that themselves. Saying, I'll pass up on the salary and donate it or whatever. Now, Philip, when he was the councilman, I believe he was donating his salary every year as a council person. But nobody else in the city stepped up and followed that lead from James Phillip there. Now, James Solomon there about foregoing a salary, just take $1. Nobody else did that. Now, right now, Solomon is on a We're Broke tour for all 6 wards. He's going to all 6 wards and telling you, we're broke. We have no money. We're $250 million in a hole. I have really no clue what we're going to do yet. And I don't know, you can't fix this in 1 year. Unless Solomon's out there playing, the lotto. He's playing the Mega Millions with Powerball. There's no way you do that in the very short term. So he's talking to the state. I know Brian Stack, Senator Brian Stack, in this case, he has 2 hats as mayor and senator. Then the state will do all they can. You're not getting $250 million, that's for sure. So we've got to figure a way of making the city more reasonable to live in, and we're going to have to look at that 250. Do we need that 250? Is it a case where we've got to come up with 250, or is there a way we can cut 250, or a combination of both? That's what we need to do. How do we do it? I don't know. Solomon's hiring he's got some good financial people. He says that he's looking at this. I think the most obvious ones, like I was saying, you got to cut your expenses. Listen, my studio is going to an upheaval. I'm cutting expenses all over the freaking place right now. 2026 is not working out well so far. But hopefully, I get back on my feet. The city gets back on its feet. Like I said, there's redundancies with the county we could probably look at. There's shared services we could look at. There's opportunities we could probably, there's opportunities where we could probably change how we do it. Like I said, with the incinerator authority, I would bring that back. I would convert the parking authority back to an autonomous agency so we have more authority over it. But there are things we can do. We just got to take the steps to do it. And whatever you can do to help the city, we need to do that. We just ran up a pretty big expense. We've been picking up the snow. No, Central Avenue, they picked it up curb to curb. You could park on Central Avenue again. I know he was working on the main drags there. I wish they would have said Congress Street was the main drag. It is a bus route, but Congress Street didn't make the main drags out there. That's unfortunate. Now, ICE enforcement in Hudson County. The city has put an initiative forward about protecting the rights of undocumented immigrants. The county of Hudson is also doing the same thing. The sheriff's department, if you go to their website, you'll probably see a whole policy that's in place on getting people to know the rights and how the sheriff's department and St. Louis Jersey PD will interact with ICE agents. Here's my take on it. Now, it is the law. I said this before. It is a federal law. I don't know if we can pick and choose what laws. Maybe we can now. Maybe we pick and choose whatever laws we want to observe and what ones we don't. There's some laws I'd rather we didn't have to observe, but not my call. The best way to deal with ICE is the way it always was done. When Barack Obama was the president, he was the commander-in-chief and chief deporter. This administration will never get to the number that Obama did deporting. But the situation was different with Obama. Same guy doing it, the Tom Homan guy, is that there were no sanctuary cities. And where you see the issues in the country with ICE is in sanctuary cities. The best way to make sure it's safe for everyone is we cooperate with ICE. Law enforcement cooperates. ICE is coming in. They tell the JCPD or the Hudson County Sheriff or the North Bergen PD or West New York PD or Weehawken that we're coming in. We're looking for this person. You hold the people on retainers who are being released from prison or jail and contact ICE. Now, that's the way to make it safe. Have law enforcement involved with their cameras on. You don't want citizens involved in this. I'm so surprised we're talking about having citizens get involved with ICE. Let law enforcement do it. They are the professionals. Let our police officers, JCPD or New York, West New York or North Bergen, let them work with ICE. Let the sheriff's department work with ICE. And if it's a legitimate call, that person gets locked up. If they're here, they got a criminal record and they're here illegally, yeah. Now, again, if you're here illegally the first time, it's a misdemeanor. Here the second time, it's a felony. So those people, and again, in the last 4 years, and we see it on TV all the time, there are people crossing the Rio Grande there. There are millions of people that flowed into the country. And they probably all shouldn't be here. Now, listen, I said before with immigration, change the law. But no matter who was in power, whether it was during the Obama days or the Bush days or the Trump days, when the Democrats controlled the presidency and the Senate and the Congress, or the Republicans, nobody had the wherewithal or the desire to change the immigration laws. They've been the same. I don't think they've been changed in like 70, 80 years. That's where the change has to happen. But we don't do that in government anymore. Now government is constant fighting. Let's shut down the government. I said this many times. I've been saying this for years. Once the campaign's over, it's the job of the people. But it never stops now. It's always the Republicans versus the Dems versus Republicans. It's awful. The Epstein list. Yeah, Epstein was a creep. But everybody involved with Epstein probably wasn't a creep. The guy was a businessman also. He did a lot of wrong there, but I don't think every one of these people are getting names of being, Beyonce's name just came out. Jay-Z's name came out. Bob Dylan, I think's name came out. There's a lot of people that you're like, come on. I think Bruce Springsteen's name came out in this. These people are all getting muddied from this. But it's just how things are. And one side wants to throw the Epstein things out there. I always question, too, with the Epstein, and I've been doing this for years, where were the parents in this? When we're talking 13, 14-year-old, where were the parents? There was no effing way my 14-year-old daughter was going to be anywhere but at home at night. There's no way she was on an island somewhere. How the hell did that happen? Yeah, that's something nobody seems to look into. But all we seem to do now in government is fight, 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 fight. We don't try to do what's better for the people. That's it. The campaign's over. Let's get down to the business of the people. But we don't do that. And getting back to ICE enforcement, the best way to do that is have law enforcement involved. If ICE is coming into Jersey City, it tells Jersey City police, we're coming in. This is what we're looking for. This person's in the county jail or is getting released from whatever situation they're in. We have a retainer on them. The law enforcement can get together and look at it. If there is a raid, and the only place you're seeing these issues with raids are in sanctuary states and cities. And there's enforcement going on all over the country. You just don't see it in the other places that aren't sanctuary cities. The best way and the safest way to handle this is, yes, have local law enforcement involved with ICE. Let them make the decision what's right, what's wrong. They know what kind of a warrant should be issued, what the procedures are. They got the cameras. Don't get civilians involved with ICE because that's only going to turn bad. There's going to be a situation where somebody's going to get very overzealous and somebody's going to get hurt or killed. We don't need any of that. We have professionals that can do this. We can. ICE is coming in. We send a couple of cops. The cops observe it. They film it. They know the procedures better than anybody. That's the best way to do that. But I'm just one voice. I don't want to see anybody get hurt. I don't want to see anybody locked up for bad charges. And we go with the probable cause and administrative warrants and this kind of warrant. I don't know all about that, but the cops do. They're the ones that can handle this sort of thing. And that's how we should actually deal with this. Now, Pompidou. Pompidou is the dead. Mayor Solomon has put the final nail on that. But there are two Pompidou spaces now that we have. We have the Pathway building on Sip Avenue, the old PS&G building. You've seen it many times, big brick building, nice building. And we have the new space that's under construction next to the Lowe's Theater, the 100,000 square feet of space that the city got in return for an abatement. That was kind of like a donation from Charlie Kushner to the city. So you got the abatement in the space. But it's 100,000 square feet. Now, we're not going to have a Pompidou, so we got to figure out what we're going to want to do with this space, the city. Everybody's going to have their hand out. Every not-for-profit, every art group is going to have a handout. Then we have a space where you can put on shows, me and Mickey Rooney and Julia and Judy Garland kind of thing. They're all great, you know. I'm sure they all do a great job. The city needs money. And, you know, they're talking about putting city agencies in that spot, and the recreation center, senior centers. We need all that. But what we need more than that is money. Now, 100,000 square foot in a brand new construction in the Renaissance that's occurring on Journal Square, we could probably get $70 a square foot for that a year. That's a lot of money. That money, what you don't want to see, or you hate to see, money going to the general fund. But that's a black hole. Just sucks money. And you really have no results of that money. You don't see the results. We can use that money to pay the bonds on the Pathside building. We're there, we can put a rec center. We're there, we can put senior services. It's a big building. We're there, we can deal with a lot of not-for-profits from the art community that want to have studios in there, what have you. We can also purchase 54 Journal Square. That's the building alongside the Lowe's Theater. Been on Journal Square a long time. Actually, it was there before the Lowe's Theater. I was looking at a picture not long ago, but it's so strange to see a picture of Journal Square without the Lowe's there. But, of course, the Trust Company Bank was there. If we ever have a picture of a dinosaur in Jersey City, I'm sure you're going to see a Trust Company Bank behind it. That must have been the first building. As soon as the Dutch hit here, they built that building, the Trust Company, because it's in every old picture of Jersey City. You never see an old picture of Jersey City in the square area without the Trust Company Bank there. 54 Journal Square has been there a long time. It would be an excellent building to associate with the Lowe's Theater. But as big as the Lowe's Theater is, it's all the theater. There's not a lot of office space in that place. Not a lot of room in that place. So it would be ideal to buy that. And again, you can put some city offices in there. You can give a councilman an office. There's a lot you can do. And we start building up the city's land catalog again. If it is true that Mayor Fulop sold 1,000 pieces of property, then our cupboard is pretty bare as far as property in Jersey City. So it would be wise to take the money that we can get from a tenant in that new construction next to the Lowe's in that building with the 100,000 square feet and use that money to pay off the notes on those two buildings. And what's left, I'm pretty sure we can deal with the notes and still have some money left to help the general fund, a few $1 million that way. That's another way you get some more money in the city and you build up assets in the city. We'll see how that goes. I know the city was talking about selling Pathside building. We should probably keep it. There's a lot of things we can do with it. Again, all the things I mentioned. But Pompidou is dead. We're going to miss you, Pompidou. We spent a lot of money. Supposedly, I think Solomon said we're into Pompidou for like $20 million already. A lot of money without even a bunch of Frenchmen hanging out on Journal Square. I'm getting down to voter ID. I mentioned this before. We got like 8 minutes left in the show. And this is a big thing. I'm watching this on the news with voter ID. Most of the country wants, I think it was like 80% of the country wants voter ID when you go to vote. They asked me for my ID when I voted in Jersey City. And the guy knew me. He said, I was going to see your ID. I gave him the ID. Now, I have two IDs. My expired license, if you ask for my license, I'm going to give you my old one. But I poked holes in it. I had my picture there, I got my address in there. You're not going to get my license number. Now, I worry about identity theft. Even though probably if they stole my identity, my credit rating would go up 30 or 40 points. I don't know what the issue is. Who doesn't have ID? They're talking about, well, we're disenfranchising people. Who? Oh, we're disenfranchising with ID. What can you do in this country without ID? Yeah, you can't go to the bank. You go to the doctor's office. You got to give them ID. That's why I have my altered driver's license. My doctor doesn't need my driver's license number. They want to scan in your ID. Never give them your Social Security number. No. That's a no-no. Even though I think they can easily find it. You can't rent a car. You can't get a drink with ID. I see it in the bodegas. I'm playing the lottery. Guys got to show his ID to buy tobacco or hookah stuff. Well, what's that thing? The fake cigarettes. The vapes. You need it for anything. How can you not have ID? I want to see what the problem is. And also, if you don't have ID, you shouldn't vote. Because now you got to sign on that tablet, which every time I break the stylus, maybe the last time I didn't, I think I went a lot easier with it, and it's very cheap stylus. But that nowhere in hell does that represent my signature. It does look nothing like my signature. In the old big books, you used to sign it yourself. We should probably bring that back. Because I remember one year, the guy that signed in front of me, no way in hell was that signature the same as that signature that was in the books. But now I don't see what the issue is there. It's ID. You got to vote. You got to show it. I got to show it. And no matter what you do in this world, you need ID to do it. Simple as that. You can't do anything without ID. You can't rent anything. You can't go to the doctor. You can't do nothing. Everything is ID. I don't know what the big argument is. And who doesn't have ID? And if you have to get it, it's not that hard. I had to take my mother-in-law when she was alive years ago. Went to the motor vehicles. Fortunately, I knew the guy at the motor vehicles. Got mom in and out, took a picture of us. She had a birth certificate, marriage license, and all that stuff. I'm sure you have this stuff. The Jersey City ones, depending on the year, you may not be any good. But, Hudson County ones, really. But I think Jersey City is now issuing their own birth certificates again. But, yes, you can get ID. I don't know who was disenfranchising there. But I'd seen this on the news. Who's got a problem with this? And I didn't think it was a big issue. Because like I said, they asked me for my ID when I voted. Doing that for years, your ID, to show my altered driver's license. Gateway Tunnel. I don't know what Trump's plan. I think Trump has had a pretty good first year. He's made some missteps. Gateway Tunnel's a misstep. The guy's from New York. We need the Gateway Tunnel. For that matter, they got the new bridge, the Portal Bridge. I actually seen most of that going up. I get to ride by it and watch it. I seen it when they bring the three arches in. I seen the arches coming in. They're starting to do the crossover now from the old 100-plus-year-old Portal Bridge to the new bridge. And that's part of the gateway. you got to release the funds. Yeah, I don't know if it's true that he wanted his name on the gateway of Penn Station. I don't know. I don't care. You don't name these things yourself. Usually your peers name it for you, but whatever. That's a misstep this guy doesn't need to take. He's doing great, I think, globally with the foreign policy. You know, there's a bunch of wars. It's not huge ones. You still got Russia and Ukraine going into year 4 here. Actually, year 5, I think, right? He's got Iran on its heels. He's doing it right there. I think the tariffs are taking effect. But there's some missteps this guy has done, and the Gateway Tunnel is one of those missteps. But he's releasing the funds. But one of the things he said, and I agree with this, he's not going to pay a dime in cost overruns. And that was how it killed the Arc Tunnel. Yes, there was a predecessor to the Gateway Tunnel. It was the Arc Tunnel. And back then, Governor Christie looked at the deal, and when he became governor, said, this is ridiculous. Jersey would have been responsible for all the cost overruns. This is a government project. Sure, hell, there was going to be a cost overrun, and Jersey was going to be holding the bag. That could have been billions and billions of dollars. So I think Trump, who's got a lot of experience building, looked at New York and New Jersey and said, listen, we'll release the money. We're not paying any cost overruns. You two states have got to figure this out. Make sure you stay within your budget. So I don't disagree with him on that. I do disagree with just withholding the funds, especially a New York guy. If he was a guy from Nebraska, maybe you understand why it's a lot of money for a tunnel out there, not realizing, we're still suffering from Sandy in some places, and the old tunnels have a lot of Sandy damage, and they need to be renovated. Then I assume we're going to keep those tunnels. So you have a lot of more capacity going in and out of New York and New Jersey. So, yeah, the Gateway Tunnel is important. Why Trump just sets himself up with stupid crap like this, I don't know. But he's a guy that needs a buffer. When you see him on the TV and he goes off script, things are about to get interesting. Well, he loves the microphone. He loves the camera. And he'll talk until he puts his foot in his mouth. But for the most part, I think this year, so it's probably somebody listening right now is like, what the F are you saying? I think he's done all right. But something did happen with fuel in the last week. It went up like almost 20 cents a gallon. I didn't read anything went wrong anywhere globally that there was any kind of an issue going on. Right now I haven't been doing a lot of driving because I'm sitting here, recuperating. I'm a professional recuperator. Like I said, hopefully tomorrow I get to the doctor and they tell me I'm cleared. I can at least go back to work for a little. Give me a couple of 3 days a week. Now, I know we're worried about the knee buckling, and there's a lot of strain, and everything. The physical therapist keeps telling me, it takes about a year. Nobody told me. I knew they were all lying to me. But little by little, it's pretty sore yet from the fall on both sides of the knee, and hopefully my kneecap's in the right place again. All right, we're running out of time. I think we covered everything I was talking about. Remember, we're going back to Mondays at 9 p.m. starting next Monday night, and I might even bring the Wednesday night back in. I want to start taking calls. We're going to be working on that. I got Mike is working on that. How we don't have to have a two-handed radio show here. All right. You be good. You be safe. I'll talk to you during the week.